Greetings and blessings, blessings and greetings, blessed souls, done I'm alive because we want to stay alive. And Torah Chaim, instructions of life, Torah Chesed, instructions of mercies, Torah Rachamim, instructions of life and kindness and mercies. I'm translating not necessarily in the order that I said it in the Ivrit or Lashon Kodesh, the Hebrew. However, this is shout out to blessed souls, part number 5, which we're going to try to do now. Hopefully, without a vow on the blessed means, or vessel, Kli Yofeh, of YouTube, and then migrated over, hopefully, in a successful manner to Facebook, and also to make everyone aware that we have a radio show called on Blog Talk Radio, BLOG radio.com, where we discuss all sorts of matters. Also, we read Tehillim Psalms and we translate it into the English. Plus we spice it up a bit with the explanation from Torah Shabbat, the oral Torah tradition of the sage of Israel, Chachmei Israel. And I want to go further now into Parshot Tetzaveh, which was with a Hasidic teaching by the Lubavitcher Rebbe of Nachum Mendel Schneerson, the 7th Lubavitcher Rebbe, which he delivered almost 30 years ago. It'll be 30 years ago this coming Shabbat that he delivered the following messages in continuation of what we learned, we shared humbly a couple of days ago. So the thing is that Moses was an emissary from the Most High to transmit commandments to Yisrael, and commandments are an expression of tzavta v'chibur, the connections, and there are all different types of connections. Each mitzvah, each commandment is a way of building a bond with the Creator, and the Creator is more attentive of our needs, although He's fully attentive of our needs. But just as, say, a baby is born to loving parents, and of course the parents are attentive to the baby's needs, however, the baby just doesn't live in a static way of existence. The baby shakes its head, it rattles, sometimes it throws up the food, sometimes the food drips down the side of the mouth, the diapers have to be changed, and the parent, although the parent was the mother and father were 2/3 of the connection from the blessing of the Most High to bring the child to the world, and they know how to take care of the child, still the child reacts in a certain way which will create even more attention, more loving kindness, hopefully to be manifested in the conduct of parent to child. With that being said, so Moshe was now, in this week's Torah portion, commanded that he should command Bnei Yisrael. That we don't see Moshe's name mentioned in this week's Torah portion, and that you can learn about why that happened from reading from scriptural verses, chapter 32, verse 32, in Shmos, the book of Exodus. So a question that was raised by the Lubavitcher Rebbe was that the lighting of the ners, the lights in the Beit HaMikdash, or in the time that they were in the desert, which was the Mishkan, the tabernacle, was done by the older brother of Moshe, and his name was Aaron Cohen, Aaron the high priest. And I would like to, I want to make this a type of class where it's not just reading right from the words of the teaching for Lubavitcher Rebbe, but to generate some questions in your mind, blessed souls, because Aaron was a blessed leader of the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel in his time. Not the status of Moses, he was second in command, because he was the high priest, and in fact he could bring down blessings to the nation of Israel that even Moshe couldn't. And the vehicle by which he did it was by loving his neighbor as he would love himself. So the question we could ask of Aaron, number one, how come, even though he was the firstborn of Yocheved and Amram, the parents of their older sister Miriam, and that he was the second born, and then Moshe, so to speak, he was the meat between the sandwich, the word of conjecture in a very allegorical fashion, the bread, the first slice of bread and the third slice of bread with Miriam and Aaron, he was the meat. How did he feel being squeezed between those two people and not feeling jealousy towards his older sister, who led Yisrael in praises after the splitting of the Red Sea, and Moshe, of course, who led Yisrael out and was given and was a greater prophet than him, and he acknowledged it. How come he didn't have jealousy of his older brother? And from where, despite the fact he was born into circumstances which many people might find themselves to be jealous of an elder sibling or a younger sibling, how did he rise above it and be the full embodiment of loving his neighbor like himself, until the point where we are taught in Pirkei Avos, the ethics of the sages, be of the students of Aaron, love peace and pursue it. And that's what we should be, all students of Aaron and Cohen, to love peace and pursue it. So that being said, blessed souls, that the lighting of the candles, the nerot, in the Mishkan, in the desert for 40 years, and in the Beit HaMikdash was by a Cohen, in the desert it was by Aaron a Cohen. So why would we need to bring the shemen, the oil, to Moshe, which is elucidated, mentioned in the first verse, in the beginning of this Torah portion, which stops in, I believe, in chapter 27, is it? I'll have to look back. When I'm editing, I'll type in the Torah portion that we're reading. But it's definitely Tetzaveh for those who know how to, for those of you who know how to identify the Torah portion based on the name in the Hebrew, you know what I'm talking about. For those who don't, I'll type it in the edit when I make the additions to this video. So Moshe was told that he should tell the children of Israel to bring him oil. What's the significance of oil? And also in the verse that this Hasidic Maimon by the Lubavitcher Rebbe spoke, you know, why was it that the verse he was told to write that they should bring him pure oil that is crushed for an illumination, for a source of illumination, and then to light the continual lights, which are the lights in the temple. Another thing we have to understand is that when the lights were lit in the temple, they were only lit from before the evening, and then would burn in potential until the morning. How many hours they actually burn, I'm not sure. You have to ask a rabbinical scholar, someone who knows the Torah Portion better than myself. I'm not exactly sure, but it was said that in the verse that it should be burning from night to morning. Okay, so why was this called a constant light? So the question we can ask ourselves, blessed soul, is how is something that is considered to be a continual light not lit the whole day? We say it also with certain types of sacrifices that were offered, the korban tamid, also known as the korban olah, which is a type of animal sacrifice that was brought in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle in the desert, and when there was a tabernacle in Nov and Shiloh, and then eventually in the temple. Why is it there were two korbanos brought in the morning and night? Well, one of the explanations from the Torah Portion is that the korban olah, which was totally burnt up, meaning it was not something that could be eaten by the Kohanim, was to make atonement for bad thoughts generated by the nation of Israel from night to morning, and that's why he offered the korban tamid in the morning. And then the korban tamid, the korban olah, which was burnt up totally to Hashem, was to make atonement for our negative thoughts from morning to that point of the second offering, the korban tamid. And the other idea is to burn up our thoughts, which are negative. And we can do that by, if we think about, I just want to burn up my negativity, but why not just emphasize on meditating on positivity, which is offered to all of us, whether we're the children of Israel or the blessed children of Noah, by thinking positive. And hopefully the fact that we're becoming aware of these teachings of Torah, that in fact we can think more positively, and there is an action, consequent action of burning up the negativity within ourselves. So the Rebbe continued that is a known thing that by his father-in-law, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson of Lubavitch, who lived from 1880 and went to the next level of life in 1950, that he had a Hasidic discourse called V'Kabel Yehudim, based on a verse in the Megillas Esther, the book of Esther. And this whole idea, as we mentioned before, that the whole idea of a tzivoi is an expression from the Zohar, the book of shining, the book of radiance, the spinal cord of all aspects of Pnimis Torah, the inner dimension of Torah, that Tetzaveh is safta v'chibur, connection. And when Moshe is being told that you should connect Bnei Yisrael, as the Rebbe writes, explains, that Moshe Rabbeinu was given the unadulterated merit of connecting the children of Israel with the Or Sof, the light which is endless, the endless awareness. Now why would we be concerned about Moshe Rabbeinu, according to the inner dimensions of Torah, blessed souls, connecting the children of Yisrael to the Or Sof? Now, we know there's such a concept of Or, light, because all we have to do is go to Genesis 1:3, and we see that the Most High his first spoken word that is recorded in the Torah is that he said, Yehi-or, let there be light. So that light that the Most High said, Yehi-or, and then there was light, Yehi-or, Vayhi-or, that was the type of light that Moshe Rabbeinu, the mighty Levite prophet, our teacher, our master Moses, master in the sense that he is the master of how to guide us to connect to the Most High, that he was connecting us back to that original light, because that light to this day has never changed. It is an Or in itself. It is an infinite light, a pristine, simplistic light, which even according to the physical calculations of quantum mechanics, we know it spreads out at 180,000 miles per second, spreads out in the most simplistic, meaning uncompounded and efficient manner. And this is the role of a leader of Israel, a prophet of Israel, and this was also given over into the hands of the early prophets of man from Adam and Shes and Chanoch and Methuselah and Noach, and this was passed down to Shem, the son of Noach, and then given down to Eber, his grandson, and then to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. But this light is still going on, and this is a light which is accessible to all human beings. Light, or Aleph Vav Reish, is also adds up to the gematria of 207. The Reish is 200, the Aleph is 1, the Vav is 6, that's 207. Also, it stands the same gematria, the same mathematical computation for the Hebrew word for Raz, secret, or mystical principle. Not that we want to talk about mystical principle, but rather matter of physics, the interaction of energy and matter, and what happens when energy hits matter, and what matters is that matter gets influenced by light, energy. With that being said, brothers, I just want to bring out to you another thing, talking about matters of Ruach HaKodesh, divine inspiration, which we're all craving for, and Ruach HaNevuah, which we need desperately as a preface, a hachana, a preparation for the Gila of Mashiach Tzidkenu, the righteous Messiah who will lead not just Yisrael but the blessed children of Noah, that we should understand. I'm taking this from a book called Sharei Kedusha, the Chaim Vital, which is interesting. If you spell Vital, V-I-T-A-L, it could be vital, Chaim Vital, essential life, which this is a great student of the Arizal, the Ari, of course, the Holy Line of Tzfat. And he brings out in the third portion, the first gate, okay, talking about this whole idea of the essence of worlds, which also is an essence of revelation, but an essence of concealment. And one of the terms that is used in the inner dimension of Torah, blessed souls, to get us all ready for the revelations of the Mashiach, these are not my insights, but rather the insights of the sage of Israel from thousands and thousands of years ago, transmitted and retransmitted, recapitulated with a language which should be understandable to the masses, is that there was a Matzil Elyon, there was a supernal emanator, that he is the source of emanating out all the worlds, and he is called the Ein Sof, the infinite one. So I'm trying to connect this to what the Rebbe talked about in elaborating what his father-in-law talked about, the Rebbe Rayatz, is that Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to connect the Neshamas Israel, and for all times, because there is this dispersion of the wisdom of Moshe, and even of his soul, because the soul, all souls are to be found through the prism of Torah, which is the blueprint of creation, that the Ein Sof, which is alluding to the aspect of the infinity, how the Most High is not only infinity, we just don't define him by infinity, but the fact that he is the source of infinity, disperses out by means of little rays of that infinite perspective, which is called Or Ein Sof, the light which is endless, infinite. This is a good sign up because we don't want to go over time. We want this video hopefully to be captured. Ahav echad, one of goy echad. Want this Nikulam for all of us, in a peaceful and pleasant way. With the blessings of the Most High.